welcome to our Wednesday edition of UpNorthLive Unscripted at 6:30. And gosh, feel like a broken record all week. Been talking about that cold weather, and it really has me dreaming about summer days and the sun hitting my skin and being out in the water. But I'm trying my best to live in the moment and just enjoy the now, because it will be summer before we know it. But you know, Trevor, I could use maybe just like a little sunshine now. Will we see any in the upcoming forecast?
Well, that depends on where you are, because
Okay.
if you think about lake effect snow, if we haven't known by now, it's a lot of areas outside of these lake effect bands could get some sunshine. So whenever we get a lake effect event, there's always the chance that mostly cloudy skies, you get outside the lake effect. You know, with us being so close to the water, it's always not super likely. That's one of the problems with Traverse City and areas close to Lake Michigan is we're significantly less likely to get any of that sunshine. But hey, somebody out there living the good life and getting some sunshine. You know who else was dreaming of warmer temperatures and wanted some and then didn't get it?
Our meteorologist
Joe Charlie, when he
Boy.
went to Destin, Florida this
Poor guy.
week, and it got a legitimately generational snowstorm.
Yeah.
Oh boy, we feel for you, Joe. We love you. All right. Well, as far as our weather is concerned, we will still have some more snow, and things are getting warmer. So I will talk about both of those things in just a few minutes.
All right, thanks, Trevor. We will touch back with you after our first commercial break. But let's start off with one of our top stories tonight. So Hospice of Michigan wants your help to boost its volunteer numbers in the region. So the nonprofit says that they need help all across northern Michigan to close a distance between patients and care, especially during the winter. So the work involves anything from simple companionship to running errands. So for much more on the need for volunteers with hospice, let's turn things over to our guest tonight. She's a volunteer service manager of Hospice of Michigan, Kathy Leachart. Kathy, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And I'm sure most people out there probably have an idea what hospice is, but for those who don't, what exactly is hospice? What do they do?
Hospice is end-of-life care for folks who have a prognosis of 6 months or less. So they're facing end of life, and we utilize volunteers in the program to provide companionship and support for those patients and their families.
So right now, how many volunteers is Hospice of Michigan looking for?
Oh my gosh, we'll take as many as there are. But, I would say a good, it's northern Michigan. We have at least 150 volunteers in all of northern Michigan. So let's just say another 10%, another 15 would be really nice.
And what do volunteers do exactly?
Mostly they provide companionship and spend time with the patient and family and whatever that means to them. They might spend time talking, reading stories, sharing stories, playing music. We have pet volunteers. We have veterans who visit other veterans. We record life stories using videos. There's just so many ways that a volunteer can contribute.
And I'm sure when people first think of volunteering with hospice, they might think like, oh, well, I don't have any experience in the medical field, so I can't volunteer. But it sounds like you don't really need that experience. But are there any requirements to volunteer?
No, just the desire to spend time with somebody facing the end of their life. And, if you have a compassionate heart and feel like you can give back to someone and spend time, that's really all it takes. It doesn't have any requirements. And, don't be afraid of the hospice word. We can learn so much from folks at end of life.
And what are some of the benefits for hospice patients to have these volunteers?
Well, some patients may not have large families or many visitors. So the volunteers fill that space where they can come and spend time with somebody who maybe doesn't have a large family, or they can provide relief for family who is normally with their loved one, but then they need to get away for a little bit, and the volunteer sits there so that they have peace of mind that somebody is there with their loved one. So there's just so many ways.
And then on the other side, what about the benefit of being a volunteer? What do they get out of this experience?
Well, every one of them would tell you that they get more out of this experience. They feel like they get more out of this experience than the actual patients and families, which I'm not sure is true, but it's an equal benefit. Knowing that you made a difference at end of life in someone's life, it's just a very good feeling, and you get a lot back from them. You hear their stories, you learn about their life and all the things that they've done in their lifetime. It's pretty rewarding.
Yeah, it sounds like a wonderful experience.
It really is.
For people who are maybe still hesitant, even after hearing about all the benefits, what would you tell people to maybe just encourage them to at least think about volunteering?
I would say just try it. If you can spend time with another human and sharing space and sharing conversation, why not? I think you could do this. I don't think it's not scary. You don't need any special skill. You just need to have the care about others and want to share your time with them.
Going off of that, sharing your time with them, how often would you volunteer? What are the time commitments?
It's not a required time commitment. So we have volunteers that volunteer once a week for an hour. We have volunteers who might do it twice a month for less than that time. And then we have those who go 3 and 4 hours a week. So we take the time that you're willing to give us and we pair that with a patient and family. So we just make it work. We realize people have other things to do, busy schedules, some work, some retired people are busier than working people. So we just really try to fit that in with the amount of patients that we have and the amount of volunteers willing to spend that time.
And I'm sure there's always a need for volunteers, but it sounds like right now the need is a little more urgent. Why is that?
It's always urgent, but I think in the wintertime, we have a lot of snowbirds. We have a lot of folks that go south for the winter, and we need others to fill in that time that they're normally visiting with patients. So I think it's just New Year is a good time to rethink giving back and how could I give back to my community, and volunteering for hospice is a great way to do that.
And so how can people volunteer for hospice?
Couple ways. Our website is, you can go fill out a volunteer application. It's hom.org.
Okay.
You can give me a call if you want me to share that number. I can give that to you. But mostly visiting our website is going to give you a lot more information than I have about volunteering, the kind of volunteering you can do, what it takes. There's training, there's background check and things like that. So there's quite a process to onboard somebody as a volunteer. But again, we do it all the time, and don't be afraid of that either.
And in case people are watching this and are wondering, can you go into a little more detail about what that onboarding process looks like?
Sure. It's a series of orientation videos that last probably 5 to 6 hours. You can watch them at your leisure. You meet with one of our volunteer services staff. After you complete that, we talk about next steps and exactly what you want to get out of the volunteer experience. Then we start the process, filling out paperwork, signing some consent forms, doing a background check, going for fingerprints, because you are spending time sometimes in people's homes. And we require a TB test if you're going to be patient facing. We also have need for volunteers in the office and at events from time to time as well.
So there are different ways that you can volunteer for the organization.
Yes. Mostly it's the patient facing companions, but we have other opportunities too.
Well, Kathy, is there anything else that you want to mention about the need for more volunteers or just about the hospice program in general that we haven't talked about yet?
The only thing we haven't really talked about is pet volunteering. And if you have a nice pet, mostly dog, but it doesn't have to be a dog. It could be a cat, a friendly pet that likes to be handled by people. We don't require pet therapy licensing or anything like that, but we have friendly pets, and many of our patients are missing their own pets. And we have a lot of pet volunteers and their handlers who go to see patients, and it really brightens their day.
It definitely sparked my interest because I do have a dog at home who is my emotional support animal, but he's really the emotional support animal for anyone he meets. And so I feel like he would be the perfect dog for that.
I love it, and we should talk more about that,
yes.
Shouldn't we?
I will be in touch with you for sure. But Kathy, thank you so much for joining us. I believe we have much more information on our website, UpNorthLive.com. You can always go to hospice's website as well. But let's turn things over to another need in the community all throughout Northern Michigan. So, of course, there's always a need for volunteers at different organizations like Hospice of Michigan. There's also always a need for blood donations, especially right now. So Versity Blood Center of Michigan is urgently asking people for eligible blood donations. So due to the recent harsh weather conditions, hundreds of appointments have had to be canceled. So that has led to a severe drop in blood donation. So Versity is urging people to make appointments to donate, especially if you have O negative or O positive blood, since those blood types are universal. And Versity is also looking to try to encourage younger people to donate as well.
With all of the school closings, that means that blood drives are being canceled, appointments being canceled, and we are only going to see this trend continue. We have some fully healthy and eligible donors of all ages, but it's so important to get the younger generations involved.
And listen to this stat. Someone needs blood every 2 seconds. Just 1 pint of whole blood donation can potentially save up to 3 lives. Now, we've been talking about this for a while now, so you may have already heard about this, but the Versity Blood Bus will be stopping at our UpNorthLive studio a week from today, next Wednesday, January 29th. It will be here from noon until 5:30 p.m. Our address is on the screen right now. We are located off of East Traverse Highway in Leelanau County, and you can schedule your spot to donate by going to our website, UpNorthLive.com. Now, let's turn things over to our question of the day related to donating blood. So we were curious if you regularly donate blood. Scan the QR code on your screen right now. That will take you to our website where you can vote. As of right now, 78% say no, 22% say yes. I have to admit, I'm sad to admit this, but I actually voted no because I am so incredibly afraid of needles, and blood really freaks me out. However, I'm going to bite the bullet. This next Wednesday, I'm finally going to suck it up because it is just, I don't know how long it actually takes to get the blood out, but I know that those few minutes or however long it takes will be worth saving someone's life. So if I can do it, trust me, you can too. Like I said, I am very afraid of needles and really not a fan of just seeing blood. I'm just going to look away. I'm going to be talking with people to keep me distracted. And again, if I can do it, you can do it too. So if you do want to sign up for our blood drive next Wednesday, head to our website, UpNorthLive.com. Okay, a pretty cool story that our reporter and anchor Mark Schlett worked on today. So it's a very great opportunity for kids to really just be kids. But in this case, these kids that we're talking about have been through something. So these kids are survivors of serious burns, which can make a lot of things more difficult, and especially maybe going to a summer camp. But in a couple of weeks in Presque Isle County, dozens of kids will be doing that. They will be going to summer camp, and those who have been before say this summer camp can be life-changing. So here's Mark Schlett with that story.
Great Lakes Burn Camp has made me feel comfortable in my own skin. When I was first burned, I thought it was done for.
In a lot of ways, this is a lot like any other camp. Fun activities, a lot of smiling faces, but this camp has an unusual requirement.
So Great Lakes Burn Camp is a camp for kids who have sustained burn injuries. We have a week-long summer camp in Matawan, and then we have a long weekend up in Onaway in the winter.
And just around the corner is the winter edition, 4 days full of winter fun in Presque Isle County.
Thanks to very generous donations, it costs nothing to the campers, and we also transport campers to and from camp by buses.
A free opportunity that can be so valuable to those who attend.
For sure, I've had the opportunity to talk to a couple campers already, and they said without a doubt that the burn camp has actually changed their lives. And there's always, you can see with the first year campers, there's always some hesitancy because that's their life. They're embarrassed for whatever reason of their scars, and they see that really doesn't matter. And it only takes about a day or two with these campers to realize, hey, there's kids just like me, and you can see the barriers that they put up just melt away.
And when barriers and nervous fears melt away, good things can happen.
I come back because I'm able to freely express myself around the people that I love. And this camp and the people that come here remind me of a second family.
It's a few days, once in the winter, once in the summer, where campers are just that, campers. They have a common trait.
We all have the same experiences. We've all been burned. We all know what it's like. So just go out and live life while you're here.
The past experience that got them here isn't forgotten about here. It's just not defining them.
I think it's also beautiful just to see the newer campers who are used to probably doing everything that they can to not talk about their scars, then to show up to camp and see everyone else's and then ask them questions. And it's an open conversation.
A few days where no one stares, where everyone understands, and where kids can just be kids.
We're not there for any other reason except for the kids. So to help you make you feel comfortable, to realize that you're not alone in this world, and just to have fun as a regular kid with kids who are just like you.
And the winter edition of the Great Lakes Burn Camp will take place in Onaway on February 14th through the 17th. Registration is now open, and we do have more information on our website, UpNorthLive.com. Just find this story, and you will find all the information you need. But let's take a quick commercial break, and coming up next, we're going to talk more with our meteorologist, Trevor Robideau, about the weather forecast and maybe even a look ahead to the weekend. Stay with us.
I'm Jada Johnson from Big Boys TV, and the Fish and Game Report is sponsored by Johnson's Propane.
This weekend, or this week, I should say, has been a doozy when it comes to winter weather. Let's bring in our meteorologist, Trevor Robideau. And Trevor, we've seen very cold temperatures, a lot of snow, a lot of school closings this week. So when will we start to see more, I don't want to say normal winter weather, because what is normal in northern Michigan? But, maybe some warmer temperatures and I guess not as much snow?
What is normal? That's a really good question. What is normal around northern Michigan? I thought it was normal, and then we went to negative 20-degree wind chills.
That's not normal.
That's not normal.
Nope.
That's not normal. We always ask that question, what is normal? Well, I'd like to think that we will return to what I would consider normal by early next week, and we'll start to warm up our temperatures and get some snow for the remainder of today and parts of tomorrow. So we'll start with that. We'll start with our temperatures, actually. There you go. We're actually still pretty cold. Most areas in the teens, in some 20s, but hey, that's an improvement from single digits. And look at that. This is the 24-hour temperature change. So it's definitely a lot warmer from yesterday at this point. It's kind of like up to 20 degrees above the normal, not the normal, 20 degrees above from where we were 24 hours ago. Same for Traverse City. A lot of areas seeing some warmer temperatures as we start to slowly seep in some warmer air. And again, compared to what we were, it's still pretty cold, but it's better than where we were. Temperature outlook, we will continue to warm up steadily day by day until finally go back to normal temperatures Saturday, Monday, and then early next week as well. We still have some winter storm warnings. That's the pink shaded counties for the remainder of tonight. So these will end by the time we're going to bed or asleep. And that's from the snow, the lake effect snow that we've had pretty much all day. This is a mix of both lake effect snow and system snow. Areas close to the lake shore are getting some lake effect snow, but inland, that's some system snow that's being driven by a front that's going to pass through the remainder of tonight. As we have a closer look at it, the heaviest bands of snow in the northern lower, especially right into the interior and the heart of northern Michigan, around Gaylord and all the surrounding areas. over towards Lake Michigan as well. Most of this is along and west of I-75, and it will continue that way for the remainder of tonight. But as the system, this front that I had mentioned that passes through, it's going to move to the southeast, and it'll kind of swing this band of snow downwards with it. So a lot of areas down south that don't have snow right now, you'll get a quick round of it later tonight. And then by the remainder of the forecast, we'll see temperatures steadily increase slightly, but then we'll have some more lake effect snow return to the forecast. First, we'll have some lake effect snow along Lake Michigan in the afternoon, and then in the evening, we'll have a more northwesterly snow setup. So 2 different areas that'll get lake effect snow for the remainder of the forecast. Tomorrow, we'll run out the snowfall forecast. There it is. Some areas could get another 3 inches tonight, otherwise less, and then add another 3 to 6 inches on top of that for isolated lake effect snow tomorrow as well. Tip Up Town in Houghton Lake, that's this weekend, Friday and Saturday. Much better day on Saturday, although we will still have some snow, but much warmer temperatures. Tonight, the forecast 6 to 18, scattered snow showers and getting warmer. And then tomorrow, the isolated to scattered lake effect, not as bitter cold, with a north to northwest wind around 15 miles per hour as a constant. As I mentioned, steadily warming up day by day and right back to what I would consider normal by early next week.
It's kind of funny seeing like the 22 degrees and be like, oh, it's going to be so warm.
It's so warm. That's much better than negative 20.
Exactly. Yep, we will take it for sure. All right, thanks so much, Trevor. Let's take one more quick commercial break, but we'll be right back with our sports director, Harrison Beebe. Stay with us. It's a busy night for high school sports across northern Michigan. And for a preview of all the action, let's turn things over to sports director Harrison Beebe.
Hey, Maya. Yeah, it's a very busy, blistery, snowy night in the world of sports. I know a few hours ago I had to clean off my car in the station parking lot. Actually, I had to recruit 2 of the guys to help me push the car out of the station parking lot. So the winter sports activities have already been built up for me today. Having said that, I'm going to head to the ice rink and check out some of the Traverse City Central, Traverse City West hockey matchup. It's the first time they're meeting in the Big North Conference this season, but the second time overall. They actually met in the Scott Miller Memorial Invitational back in December at center ice. Trojans winning that one 3-1. This time around, though, it's conference standings, and the bragging rights just kind of move up as we go along. They'll have one more meeting down the road as well, but an exciting night for midwinter here as the snow and the cold has kicked in, and we get a nice little hockey rivalry to help spice things up. We'll get you those highlights at 11. For now, let's take a look at the high school basketball state rankings, the latest rankings out from the Associated Press for boys and girls. We start in the boys Division III. It's Glen Lake, the Lakers, 9-1. They're up to number 2 in Division III. Also joined in Division III by Harbor Springs and McBain, and those 2 schools are going to show up in the girls' rankings in a second as well. Division IV, Bel Air. I caught their game last night. Tough night for them. The Eagles falling to East Jordan. That now moves them to 11-2. Still top 10 ranked. Onekama coming on as well. They're in the Northwest Conference with Glen Lake. The Portagers at 9-2 in the top 10. Let's go to those girls' polls. McBain, I saw them in action on Monday night taking on Traverse City St. Francis. The Lady Ramblers ranked number 6 in Division III, followed by Harbor Springs and then fellow Highland Conference rival Everett. And then when we go to Division IV, we're talking about St. Ignace yet again. The Saints at that number 1 spot, looking tough to beat this year. And Leland and Gaylord St. Mary also getting top 10 positions. Let's talk real quick. Pistons. They're in action tonight, taking on the Atlanta Hawks, coming off that win on MLK Day over the Houston Rockets. Great way to start a 5-game road trip. They're taking on the Hawks tonight, and that's a crucial team in the pecking order for the Eastern Conference. They're right above the Pistons now for 6th in the East. So should be exciting to see those 2 at it. We'll have those highlights at 11 as well. That'll do it for me and Unscripted. Back to you.
Thank you, Harrison. We look forward to seeing all those highlights tonight at 11. Okay, I know I said one more break earlier, but now we have one more break right now, and this will be the last break, I promise. We'll be right back.
Salon services are furnished by Epiphany Advanced Academy in East Acme.
Taking one last look at the live results for our question of the day. Do you regularly donate blood? 73% say no, 27% say yes. For those who maybe don't do it often but are looking for a chance to do it, because as we mentioned earlier in the show, donations are really low right now with all of the weather events causing cancellations. A week from today, next Wednesday, we'll be hosting the Varsity Blood Bus. So please consider donating. There is an urgent need right now. We have more information on our website, UpNorthLive.com. But thank you so much for joining us on Up North Live Unscripted. We hope to see you back here at 11 o'clock tonight. Take care.